Welcome back, everyone, to the Don't Wait to Be Great, 7 days to making your quantum leap, to finally turning your dreams into your reality so that you, my friend, can stop procrastinating, stop settling, move into action, move into your power, and start living the life you deserve. We like to say so you can get more life out of living and more living out of life. Hi, my name is Raven Blair Davis, known by many as Raven, the talk show maven, Queen of Internet Radio Conversion, and I'm just thrilled that you're back for another dynamic interview. But remember, it's not about listening, it's about hearing what these master teachers and leaders have said to you, and take not just their story, but take the action steps and strategies and tips and recipes for success and use them, apply them, because it's all about unleashing your greatness. That is what this whole purpose of this radio summit. I have shut down my regular programming to bring this to you. 7 days, 7 amazing experts, and you know what? We got another. Yes, we got another, and I'm so excited for more reasons than not for this one. And he knows what I mean. But this guy is just amazing. His story is so heart-touching. He's a very authentic person to be on the level and have experienced the level of success he's had. And I'm talking about none other than Derick L. Anderson Sr., NCAA and NBA champion. I love it because this journey is all about having that stamina. I'm looking at his book, beautiful cover, beautiful cover. It's called Stamina. It says, don't run out of breath before you win. And this is what I really love about what he says on his book, and it's so fitting for this Don't Wait to Be Great, Do It Now Radio Summit. He says, I altered my future when I altered my mind. Wow. Rewind, say it backwards. Wow. So help me. Hey, if you're standing, sit down. And if you're sitting, stand up, because the man is here. Hey, how you doing, Derick?
I am great, absolutely great.
I'm so glad you're here. This book, I think I wrote you when I started reading. I still got to finish it. And all I could do was say, wow, I think that's what I put in your email. It's just so amazing. It's so touching. Your stories that you've been through. I don't want to kill the story for people because I want them to get the book. We're here to talk to them about Don't Wait to Be Great. But we're also going to be using some of your book, because your book is right on time for this. I'm so glad that you are here and that you've gone through the journey of many of what our listeners have gone through, and you kept that stamina. What do you mean when you say on your cover, stamina, don't run out of breath before you win? Because that's huge.
Well, I think even as adults, we get to a point where we're so focused on listening to what people say. We're so focused on what society thinks is success. We're so focused on worrying about, my next bill, my next meal, how am I going to dress, how am I going to look today. Every morning people wake up, they're always concerned with how other people feel about them. Mm-hmm. It's never about enduring what you want to do in a lifetime. And a lifetime is short compared to what we really have. So to me, I think what most of the reason that I wrote Stamina was making sure people realize that when you wake up in the morning, you live for you. And if you do that, you can live a lifetime. You can live an eternity. You don't worry about, I was born this day and I'm down this day. You never die if you wake up every day knowing that you're going to make yourself happy. So to me, I think it's just basically people understanding what really life is about. And if you wake up every day, then you'll have enough stamina to win in life. But if you give up on anything, then you'll die immediately.
I love what you're saying here. And, you kept bringing up living today. If you live today and you reach your greatness, you are not going to die with your dreams inside. And that's exactly what we hope to pass on. If people don't walk away with anything else, they must realize that the richest place on earth is the graveyard. I heard Les Brown say that once. People take so much with them, and they have such a gift here. We're all in this space for a time. And we think it's about us, but it really isn't. It's about what we're here to pass on to others. Wouldn't you agree?
Absolutely. And that's the thing with me. It's like I've learned to forgive and to move on, but I've learned a better valuable lesson is you're never too old to be hurt. You're never too old to forgive people. You're never too hurt to love people. And I've found out that love is the one thing that's consistent in life, and it carries on. So now I've given love to my community, to people, to family, to friends, to organizations. Therefore, I never die. I've become immortal because you can't stop the love that I have for other people who are still living, that are passing it down. So I've become immortal. So to me, I think love is the most ultimate thing that we have. And once you put that out in the air and give back to others, you'll forever be remembered for that moment.
That's deep. So really, our legacy is our love that we give here, right?
Period.
Mm-hmm.
You have to give that love. It has to be freely. It can't be, well, if that person doesn't love me, then I don't love them back. You know, most relationships, people realize that, hey, we are two different people trying to come into our own world. But you can't expect that other person to love you if you don't love yourself and if you don't freely give that love out. That was the issue with me when I was a young man trying to find my way. I was so concerned on making sure other people felt a certain way about me. I was forgetting the fact that I wasn't receiving the love they were giving back. I was so concerned on giving it that I wasn't receiving it back. I was being stubborn. I was being hard-headed. And I didn't realize until I actually received the love from my family members that I found again that I realized that, man, I was blocking my own blessing. I'm thinking I'm doing all the right things, but I was the one hurting myself by holding on to so much hurt and anger.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the ultimate goal, is to love yourself and to love others and allow that love to be received from yourself.
Wow. Okay, you talked about hurt, you talked about pain. I know from reading your book, and I'm just going to ask you to sit back and embrace what you wrote, and I'm going to read to people from the introduction, a part that had me tearing up, but it gave me so much admiration and respect for what you do. So allow me to read your words. I had won championships from middle school, high school, college, and the Junior Olympics. I was at the pinnacle of my career and about to achieve victory on the greatest stage of my life, the NBA Finals. For a split second, as I looked around the arena and focused on the faces so full of intense emotion, I was drawn back to seeing the agony in my mother's face as she cried out in misery in a drug rehab center. I recalled my father barely able to smile through the insistent pain of lung cancer as he struggled for his life. The shocking memory of my sister dying in agony, reaching up to grab her daughter's hand as my father's best friend stabbed her 17 times. I envisioned my brother trying to force a smile, although I had not seen him since we were children many years ago. My memory pulled me back to when I was an 11-year-old boy that had to live alone without food or electricity for numerous days. As my memory progressed, there was a 12-year-old child who had to sleep on a hard park bench for way too many nights. There was a 14-year-old boy who had a child while he was still a child. I recalled him raising that child as a single parent. I remembered a teenage boy stabbed in his back as he ran for his life. I see all of those people standing in the crowd and then realize they are all me. That's why I said, wow. That's just the first wow I said. And as I said, that's in the introduction.
Right.
Whew, Derick, that's a lot for one person to endure. I mean, we talked about love, we talked about forgiveness, but I'm sure that was a journey.
It was a lot more than that, and it was a journey. But the thing that I've always said about myself and why I made it is because I got the God free will, like all of us, to want more. When you accept being in an abusive relationship and you accept being in bad situations, all those results are just from you being your free will not being used in a way it should be. Of course, I was struggling at the age of 11 and all the things I went through, but I ultimately said when I first got left in my abandoned apartment, I said, I want more. I don't want this life for me. This is not what it's about. You know, I got left in an abandoned apartment at 11, and I had to go fend for myself for days at a time, random apartment buildings, you know, just finding my own way. And when I realized that I made my first $3 at the age of 11, I said, there's nothing that can stop me except me. You know, so to me it was more or less just saying I wanted something. And ever since I started saying, when I said that, I got everything that I've asked for.
You want
every
more.
single thing, and more.
And more, yeah. And like Les Brown says, you got to be hungry for that success, right?
Absolutely.
You got to be hungry more than for the success. You got to be hungry for the change.
Yes.
You were hungry for the change.
I was hungry to a better life and change, but I was hungry with the mental preparation, saying I want myself to be better than what I've been. You know, like a lot of people won't take self-accountability at all. They want to blame parents. They want to blame neighborhoods. They want to blame racism. We look for every excuse we can except going out and get what we want. Sometimes you might have the long road to go. I had a long road to go. And once I got to that end of that one of my journey points, you know, I wound up making $1 million from working for 5 and 10 cents as an 11-year-old abandoned kid. Like, the journey is there for you. You just have to stay the course.
You know, you said something key. A lot of people are not responsible for their own life, responsible for their own setbacks, and responsible for what they're not doing. I think Michael Jackson said it really good in that beautiful song when he said, take a look at the man or the woman in the mirror.
In the mirror, yeah. And
stop blaming everybody else. And that's just what you just said. Define what being great means to you.
Being great to me is a variety of things, but it comes down to two simple things: your work ethic and your character. If you ever notice, when we grew up, Martin Luther King wasn't rich. He wasn't a famous musician. You know, what did he have? Integrity, character, you know, work ethic. He walked miles to help people. That's what you have to build something on. But now society says we have to trick some of these young kids and some of these people who are not wealthy or rich mentally or social-wise into believing what we want them to believe. So let's dumb them down. Let's make their parents not care for their kids. Let's give their parents social media to not enhance their kids but to argue with other people so the kids wind up arguing with them as well. You know, the society has put so much negativity out there to keep us from developing as people that, you know, people lose focus on what really matters. And greatness is all about work ethic and your character. They can never take that. I've seen people have dogged me, they've dogged people, they've lied on people, they've said rumors, they've said bad things about people, but your character has never been flawed no matter what people say. And then to get yourself in a better situation, your work ethic can never stop. It's those two simple things. Men and women have that. Women will go out of their way to argue with someone, but then she say, well, I'm tired from work. Well, if you just use all the energy you did from arguing with this person, you could have got you another job. You know what I mean? Like stay away from the ignorance. And I tell these young men, I was like, you're sitting here worrying about trying to outdo this guy, and he's not better than the guy in front of him. So what are you getting? Like, your whole life, you're going to be trying to be better than other people instead of enjoying who you are. You know, we put so much of our effort into the wrong things, but if we did it in the right situation, you will get so much out of life. And again, we're all great. We've all created equal. We all were born in the life and on this earth. There is only uneven playing field we might have is a social status. The rest is all you, mentally, physically, whatever you want, you can go get.
You just got to want to go get it.
That's it. And I'm not saying it's easy. Because if it was easy, we'd all be where we wanted to be.
It's not easy. You got to have that stamina.
Right. Yeah. Those who want more will get more.
Those who want more will get more.
Period.
You can't nobody want it more than you want it.
Absolutely. It's impossible for you to ever be successful in life. Your boss doesn't come in and say, hey, I know you didn't want to do your homework or your work today, so I'm going to do it for you just so you can make it. That's not going to happen. And again, it's all about making sure you don't fall into the bad thought process of society. If you fall into that, you'll never win. And once you separate yourself from knowing what society's doing and why you prepare yourself, you never stressed about it because you can't control it. you never, and the things you can control and change, you go do that.
Mm-hmm.
So it's very simple to see, but some people don't like simplicity. They like the hard road.
Why do you think that is?
Society. Society's told them that. Society's told, people my age who struggle say, hey, go sell drugs. It's easier instead of working at McDonald's for 10 years, and in 20 years you're the manager at McDonald's and you own one, and another 20, by the time 25 years later you own one. So you're 40 years old owning your own McDonald's as opposed to going to sell drugs, and now you're just getting out when you turn 40 from prison. I think that's the whole thing, and the society has let these kids think that it's okay. Because we all know there's nobody in the neighborhoods that comes up with these drugs. They're dropping them off in the neighborhood. But if you tell this kid they're dropping them off in the neighborhood so they can set you up, he's not looking at that. He's looking at, I need to get a nice car so the girl likes me. I need to wear some fly clothes so these dudes will respect me. And I need to say I'm going to take care of my family and my neighborhood instead of me just getting a regular job and getting a roof over your head and getting some food. That's happening. They don't see that. They've been brainwashed to think it's okay to do that. Because if you walk in any neighborhood, you can sit there for 2 days and see who sells drugs. Because a kid who doesn't work, who's not in school, or a guy who doesn't do anything to sit on the block all day, but he's got a nice car, randomly, you could pretty much tell who sells drugs. But these kids don't see it that way. Society has shielded us as a group of people, even the whites, blacks, or whatever, Latinos, whoever it may be, they've shielded us mentally. And until people come out of that mental aspect of it, they'll never understand what the varieties of life they can have. Because we don't have to be rich. Fame and fortune and greatness isn't financially wealth. It's mental wealth.
Yeah, and you see that every day because you see, when watching TV and stuff, people that they have all the money, they've got the fame and stuff, but they're still miserable, and so they're just abusing their bodies. Their money's going to waste because, okay, they've reached that part, but there's that big hole. Maybe they didn't forgive. Maybe they didn't show enough love. Or maybe they've just gone through some stuff, and they thought that making the money was going to heal them.
Right.
You got to do that emotional work, too, like you talked about earlier, letting go and loving and forgiving. And I'm sure, the book, this wonderful book you read, you probably have read many books from other people to help you get through it. And
absolutely.
And since I brought that up, name a person that inspired you? Maybe their books, maybe their audios, maybe their TV show, radio show. Who inspired you the most?
Well, who inspired me was the Bible. You know what I mean? It's just, Once I realized, wow, there's other things in life that you can look at the Bible and be like, wow, this is reality.
Yeah.
I can read a lot of different people. Martin Luther, even Les Brown, and there's a lot of variety of people that I could read and say, hey, these people are successful because of X, Y, and Z. But what I took from everyone was that the Bible has substance to it. And even though it's written by man, it comes from a spiritual place that all makes sense. Like, how can someone write something that long ago and it still makes sense today?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So to me, I felt like that was more of a spiritual realm that was really impressed me. So now I feel like, you know what, I can learn more from the Bible and take it from what makes sense in society with my own thought process. And a lot of people don't like their own thought process, so they won't use their own. They'll use everything else to make that work for them. So I just feel like that the Bible has always been the best thing that I've ever could have seen that helps me out.
I love that because I'm the same way. It started with the Bible. And, we're not trying to turn you into a Christian if you're not. But one of the things that I applaud you and all the speakers we've had up to this point is, and I'm so glad because, I did ask God to lead me to the right people to get on this thing because this message is strong. Don't wait to be great. Do it now. Do not die with your dreams inside. And I wanted authentic people. I wanted people that were spiritual. I wanted people that were heartfelt and would speak the truth. So let me just pause on this and say thank you for that. Okay?
No problem. Thank you.
You mentioned some great things, and I'm trying to keep up with you, but I'm glad I get to go back and listen to this and grab the notes. But, you mentioned being great. We all are born great. It's just that what we do with the space we have. I'm working on a book, and don't you steal it because I already got the domain, called Don't Waste the Space That the Good Lord's Given You. And that's what I think. I think we're all here for a reason that's much more than us just taking up space, okay? And we got to do something with it. We got to give. We got to pass on the message you just spoke about with the kids. I know you're out speaking and sharing all your messages and sharing with the kids so that the ones that go through the same thing you go through won't have the missing link. They'll know what it takes to get through it, because you mentioned work ethics. You mentioned integrity. You mentioned character. You know, those are things that you picked up along the way, those things you picked up from the Bible, and I'm sure other sources. And you can tell it's embedded in you and just speaking with you and, of course, in reading this book. You also mentioned about how bad a person has to want it. We can't want it for someone else. And as coaches and mentors and leaders and speakers and stuff, we can get out there and pass it on. But the people have to get it. They have to want it more than we want it for them. And it made me think, and I just Googled this because I wanted to get the words right. It made me think of something that I read. You probably heard of this, Derick, that from Muhammad Ali. And it says, champions are made in gyms. Champions are made from something that they have deep inside them, a desire, a dream, a vision. They have to have, last minute, get this, stamina. They have to be a little faster. They have to have the skill, but most importantly, he says they have to have the skill and the will. But Derick, he said, but the will must be stronger than the skill.
Yes, every single time.
And you notice he had your word in that? Stamina.
Yeah. It's no secret that's the method of survival. Mm-hmm. How would any of us have ever made it out of any type of situation? I'll give you an example. Is when they say slavery was the reason, why a lot of people died and suffered, but yet you see where we're at today as a society. You've seen a race of people struggle. You've seen where Latinos and Mexicans and different varieties of race have come over into the United States, Asians, Chinese, Japanese. Like, everyone has been able to survive through stamina. And all they've done was mentally adapted to what they needed to do to survive. Mm-hmm. So if someone feels like they're having a hard time, it's a mental thought. It's not financial. It's not physical. It's not, fame. It's not attention seeking. It's all about your mental preparation of how you want it. If you want more, say that every single day and then act on that thought, and you'll become more. Mm-hmm. But the more you put that negative stuff, I'm not making it, I'm mad at them, I'm blaming everyone else for my own downfalls, or someone's not giving me a job, I just feel like this. I hear people who graduated complain. I'm like, that's your problem. You got a graduate degree. Go work at a regular job until you find what you want. But you're not speaking to people. You're not connecting. That's a mental problem. I always wanted to be the best basketball player. Because I wasn't a Hall of Famer doesn't mean that I stopped living my life.
And I love that you didn't just stop it at your awesome basketball career. Right. You were smart. You were setting things in place. Why'd you do that? Because don't everybody do it?
That's the point. It's a mental thing. I've always wanted more than what I have, and that means preparing myself for a better life. And then I realized giving back is going to require me having something to give back. Everyone says they want to help their family, but they're not even able to help themselves. It's like, that's not logical. You need to figure out what makes you work and what does your heart feel. And I always wanted to give back. So I said I have to work every single day to continue to give back to other people. That is the gift that God gives you. You must give back in order to receive God's blessing. It's a fact. You can always look at some selfish people and everything that they do, but if you don't give back, it will be taken from you. And it could be it won't be through violence all the time. It could be your health. You ever see some rich people, they don't get killed, they'll be dying of health, and they'll be wishing they had all that money to bring it back to health, good health? You can't. It's all about what you want as a free will for God, and that's what your vision is. That's my life.
Awesome. Okay, what do you think? I mean, really, I'm going to think out of it. What do you feel stops most people from moving into their greatness?
I think I wrote another book. It's called Uninvited Fears, and I think that's the issue. So many people, again, they look in the mirror, and if they don't think they're looking like a Beyonce, if a guy doesn't feel like he's the most famous guy, a Jay-Z famous athlete or actor or something like that, they feel less than those people. That's the problem that we have. Before social media, no one compared to any of that. So we all worked. We all didn't mind, being who we were. We could look at ourselves and be completely happy. So many people today try to compare themselves. If you don't have 100,000 on Twitter, they're mad, they're upset. If they don't look like a certain way, they have the nice clothes, they feel like someone else, they're blaming everything. I saw a young lady who had everything, and I just heard a word the other day, she just killed herself. And everyone was like, why would she kill herself? She wasn't happy with who she was because she was comparing herself. That's what I want about especially young ladies. Start empowering each other. Start making each other beautiful. You will start to look like, this is my crew. This is my gift to other women, is to make them look beautiful. And not just physically, but mentally and emotionally. That's the same thing with men. Quit disrespecting women, and you will stop worrying about women who are disrespectful. And that's where we have to look at ourselves in the mirror at that point. I think if you look in the mirror and you say these three things, I am beautiful inside and out, I am happy inside and out, and I am willing to die because I'm happy inside and out for someone else, you will never in a day in your life feel like you're not worthy of living that day. I guarantee you that.
Okay, so I am happy.
Beautiful,
I'm beautiful
inside
and out. I'm happy inside and out. And say the third one again.
I will die from helping someone else because I'm happy from the inside and out.
That one's deep.
That's your service to God. Why do you think Jesus died for us? It's to show you that that's your way into God's heaven. And it doesn't mean taking a bullet, or diving on a grenade. It means giving service back to other people. Mm-hmm. And if you saw someone hurt or sick or just a kind word.
You take them in, yeah. Mm-hmm. And taking them in is to mentally help them, like you said.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes. And don't mean you have to take everyone in because everyone's not play. Because the devil can play tricks on you. Mm. He'll show you that one person just did something really wrong, and then people are like, well, I'm going to take him in and do this, this, and that. Nah. If God tells you to take him in, he'll let you bring him in. He'll bring him in to you. Mm-hmm. Don't you go out here seeking to help, save the world. That's not what our vision is. Mm-hmm. If they come into your life and you feel a certain way, it's teaching you something. It's showing you how to prepare yourself. Sometimes you might see something bad and it'll be like, hey, be warned, that's what bad looks like. Doesn't mean come in and try to save it. Mm-hmm. You have to decipher what makes sense. So
is that when it's really important to be in touch with, your spirituality and listening to the voice inside you guide you the right way?
Yeah, absolutely. Because a lot of women that I find out when I speak to them, and men nowadays, is they wind up dating someone and they see all the bad signs in the beginning.
And we ignore them. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and they simply ignore them.
Just like ignore. Mm-hmm.
Yes, and they be like, well, I don't want to just do this, this, and that. And that's why I kind of disagree with Steve Harvey's book about the 90-day rule. It's like, you need to tell that person up front, I'm not going to waste my time 90 days, and then I come to find out I don't like you, and then I got to start over. I didn't waste 90 days. Like, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to tell you what I want, what everything about me in the beginning. And someone say, why would you tell everyone about you? He said, because I have nothing to hide. Ooh. I'm going to tell you who I am, and if you like that and you respect it, cool. If you don't, you save me a lot of time from heartache, from depression, from anything else. And I tell women that. I say, well, I'm not going to tell this guy how I am. I said, well, if he don't like you, if he likes you now, he'll like you later. But if you tell him later and he don't like that then, guess what? He's going to leave you. He's going to cheat on you. He's going to be the same dude that you just wasted all this energy on trying to convince him. Remember that saying about women try to change men? Mm-hmm. No, they don't. Women don't try to change him. They just try to hide the fact that they ignored his ignorance in the beginning.
Yeah, they ignored it because they wanted what they wanted at the time.
Exactly.
And you're 100%, and I'm one, I keep it transparent. I ignored a lot of red flags along the way in a lot of different relationships. And so stop ignoring those red flags just to get some pleasure for that moment, or just to say I'm in a relationship, which is a lot of cases, not all the cases, but a lot of cases with women. They just want to say, I got a man, I'm in a relationship, or I just want to be married, period. And
right.
And you see that in red flags, and so like you said, you got to trust your instincts, especially women, because women, we were born with humongous, tremendous, miraculous instinct if we follow it, for sure. You know what? I think you've probably given us this answer, but this is one of the questions I really do like to ask all our master teachers, so I'm definitely going to throw it out there just in case you have something else to add in this area. But there are people who are super successful in making things happen in their life, have to get things done even if they're afraid. They have to break through it. So what have you been most afraid of along your journey, and how have you broken through it? Other than, of course, the Bible we know, and, having the integrity and the character and all this stuff to push you past it and becoming fearless. What are some other things you can contribute to that?
Thing about it, I've never been afraid of anything. I think when I was, at a young age, I've learned to adapt. And that's the key. That's the real key to success, is learning to adapt. You don't have to, be the smartest person. I was never smartest person, the most intelligent, but I was resourceful. I went and read and found out what I wanted to know. And then I think I adapted to every situation. And that's what I have to do. You have to adapt to your surroundings. So I think that's the thing. I've never been fearful of anything. Ever since I was a kid, my great-grandmother told me, she said, when you were a young kid, you used to tell people to stay away from dogs, and you would stand in front of people. And I was like, I did what? Like, yes. I'm just like, wow, and I just felt like I was never afraid because I felt like I had a bigger purpose. And that's the same way now. If you feel like you have a bigger purpose in life, you shouldn't be afraid of anything. Dying, being in situations, you should always say, I got my own strength inside. And again, it goes back to those three things about being happy inside and being happy outside and inside. So I have zero fears. And again, I think adaptation is where you become successful in life. Men, women, all the same. And a quick thing, what you said about women, it was like, women are so powerful. And if you believe the Bible, that Eve came and made Adam eat the apple. How much more power can a woman not know that she has?
Yeah.
This woman literally changed the scope of life itself. And that's what I'll be trying to tell women. You have more power than you know. You just need to use it in the right way. You can change people. You can change men. You can change the outcome of life itself because you are the generators of life. Why did God let women give birth if they gave men so-called all the power? We don't have no real power. We got physical power, but without women, who procreates? Dude's going to be his sister by himself. It's just women need to quit trying to beat each other down and empower each other, and we'll have a better society with men, too, because they don't give these men these easy way outs, like these fast women or these women who just give in to certain things. If you have that situation that you have a woman that knows who she is and her worth, she'll be happy. It doesn't mean she has to be married to him or she has to do X, Y, and Z, but she knows her worth. She does what she loves to do, and she shares it with the person she cares most about. People keep getting that construed because Jesus wasn't married. He had a vision that God gave him, and that's what we have to do. If you're blessed to get married, then be happy with that. But let's not lose focus. You as an individual need to be connected with that, and you'll be happy within yourself.
Yeah, be happy within yourself. I love what you're saying here, knowing your worth. And you talked about you had to adapt to your different surroundings and situations, and I think that was really, really key. You do have to learn how to adapt. I mean, you had to at a very, very young age.
Right.
You went through a whole lot of different things that, many would have drove many people crazy. But kids, at a young age, kids are very strong. They're very strong. And sometimes they're able to push past a lot of stuff us grown-ups don't do.
Right.
And I find that powerful in itself. And then, you've mentioned, of course, you read the Bible earlier and you read other things and you did your research and you just have really knew you wanted something bigger. Your why was so strong and so powerful. And there's an old saying that says, if you know your why will get you out of your mess. Your why will push you past your pain. It'll push you past the fears. It'll push you past the struggle, and it will help you in developing that stamina that you need to have to win, for sure. Oh, yeah. My goodness, I'm telling you, I'm getting rider cramps. This is good, and then it gets gooder and gooder, as we talk to you, Derick. Boy, you bring so much. Now, I know, you haven't been fearful. You went through a lot. Like you said, you learned to adapt. have you ever had to handle rejection? Because many people listening to this, they're dealing with rejection all the time, but the difference is that they let that rejection stop them, and they give up. They give up on their dreams, and they give up on moving from good to great because they just can't handle the rejection. What can you share with that?
But this is my thing. Name one person that hasn't been rejected that wasn't famous after their rejection. You can't. No one's ever, in the history since Thomas Anderson, no one in the world has not been rejected and then not become successful. It's impossible. You have to be rejected in order for you to keep doing more research. The more you go harder. No one just walked in the gym and hit their first jump shot and all of a sudden just won championships. It's just not going to happen. And I think today's society, especially, they're so driven on being visibly successful instead of actually being successful. You know what I mean? Like, quit trying to worry what people think. So, to me, you're going to get rejected. Everyone. Steve Jobs, who did iPhone, he got fired from his own company, started 2 other companies, wound up making $1 billion, and then he goes back to his company, and it takes it into an $8.3 billion company. Like, he got fired. Like everything about this, Michael Jordan getting cut, then becoming the greatest basketball player. We've heard all these stories. None of these stories have ever started with a happy beginning. They're always tough times in the beginning. Like every single person. Right now, I always ask people this, why is Warren Buffett and Bill Gates, the 2 richest people in the world, work together, right? That Michael Jordan and Magic Johnson won't do a camp together.
I know. Wouldn't that be amazing? Wow.
But this is the issue. It's not that they're not good people, that they don't have good hearts. It's because they are afraid. They're completely afraid of one or the other outshining them, outdoing them, outworking them. It's competition with each other. That's where you lose. A lot of these people today in society, they're scared of connecting with other people like them or even trying to work together. That's the problem. They want to do it all by themselves, and when it's time to get help, they're looking around like there's no one to help. It's because you didn't connect. You're sitting here asking for help, but you're not asking other people to help you get there. The ones that Martin Luther King didn't walk to Washington by himself. Harriet Tubman didn't pull a train to get people to get across the country by herself. She had everyone needs other people to support and help them. That is the way that you succeed. And these people nowadays, they run from it. They're scared of it. And they still feel like, okay, if 5 people tell them no, then the next 5 is going to tell them no too. I don't care how many times you tell me no, I'm still moving.
Yeah.
And that's why I keep winning. Like, there's nothing about me that says I'm going to quit. Therefore, I never lose.
Yeah. Just because someone's saying no doesn't mean it's your clue, okay, this ain't going to work. If you get 1,000 no's, I think Colonel Sanders got 1,000 no's. I think once when I interviewed Jack Canfield, he shared with me, him and Mark Victor Hansen, when they came out with the chicken soup for the soul, people were like, nobody's going to read that. And it became a phenomenon. So the no's, for me, when someone tells me no, it just makes me want to push harder and show, not so much show me, show them. Because I know, I'm like you, I know, and I've as a kid, I always knew that, there was greatness within me. It took me a long time to figure it out. Then figure it out to 55 when I was in the hospital. My mother was ill. But I think that's because my why was bigger than me. It was about her. And I knew, like you said earlier, I couldn't help Mom if I couldn't help myself.
Yes.
And so I had to make some decisions to recreate my life. Right then and there, snap, had to be done. I went in that chapel, I came out, and I told the nurses, hey, I'm going to start a radio show. It's going to be for women power. It's going to empower baby boomers like me to get more out of life because I know they're determined to get in. I'm going to interview women that have been through their pain and now found their power, and they're going to learn from it, and people are going to come and listen. It started with 5 people listening on a conference call line. Now I have a station, and I'm so glad that I can shut down my program, and thank you, Lord, that I own my station and say, hey, don't wait to be great, do it now. So thank you again, Derick, for being here and adding to this and adding to the message. In your book, I think I'm still in the introduction. Y'all, I'm telling you, the introduction is so hot. I'm reading that 3 and 4 times. Again, the book is Stamina, Don't Run Out of Breath Before You Win. I altered my future when I altered my life. NCAA and NBA champion Derick L. Anderson, Sr. This is his book. Where can they get this book at?
You can get it at Derick Anderson Works, WORKS.com, and or you can get it on Amazon, and you can see the reviews and everything about it, so before they even read it, they'll know exactly what they're getting and what they're looking into it.
Absolutely.
It should be good.
It's a doggone good book, for sure. For sure. It's one that you will pick up and read and can pass on. But in your book, you said the purpose for this book isn't to make people feel bad for me because of my childhood. What I hope to reveal is a blueprint on how to make the most out of what you have. And for this particular radio summit we're doing, Global Summit, Don't Wait to Be Great, Do It Now. Can you kind of give us maybe a couple, you gave us some good wisdom and advice, but maybe a couple strategies you learned along your way in being involved, being a champion, that you can give our listeners a couple strategies so that they can actually take and put into action, along with all this other great stuff you gave us?
Right. Well, the first thing I would tell them is, if you do what you love, success will follow. Period. Mm-hmm. Like, if you do what you love to do, then you're great or good at it, whatever. But if you do it with a passion of it, success is 100% going to follow that. That's number one. That way you don't be chasing something that you're really not good at because someone else said it's a good paying job, or, you might get this, and that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So I think the second thing is your character and your emotions. When you allow your anger to control your mind, it will also control your life. Every single time that you lose your emotional stability, it always affects your life. And you can't think one side and not think it's going to affect your other side of you. Again, it's that inside-outside happiness that I spoke of. You can't allow that to become something. When you allow your anger to control your mind, it will also control your life. Do not lose control. If someone smacks you, hits you, there's a situation that you always have to think. And if it's not a life-threatening situation, I'm not telling you not to protect yourself by no means, but understand if someone says something to you, says something about you, to go back on the attack could also affect your future. So understand what your life is about to be, because this is about you and not them. And I think another third thing is, write down everything that you want to be. Write down a list of things you want to be in life. And you can say, I don't know, I just this and that. Okay, but what makes you happy? If you like video games, some people say, well, I don't really like to do too much. I like reading. I said, well, you can go be a reader. You can be a public speaker. You can work at a library. You can work at a school system. So there's no way people can say that they don't have a career because there's a career for you, especially with social media. Mm-hmm. So I think if anyone writes down what they want to be and then write another list and just 5 things. What are my best 5 things I'm good at, and the 5 things that I think that I'm not good at? When you go to that not good list, you scratch that whole list out because you have 0 weaknesses. You never go into something thinking that you're going to lose. Take all that out. You go back to that situation and you look at those 5 things that you are good at and you focus on those. Focus on the good. People always say, I'm not good at this and that. I want them to write it out just so they see what they think they're not good at. Mm-hmm. But then it'll contradict themselves by looking at the good things that they are, and they'll be like, wow, that's amazing. You remember The Wizard of Oz?
Uh-huh.
And all of them said that they didn't have courage, they didn't have heart, they couldn't think. But yet when you watch the movie, all of them did. Mm-hmm. It's just they never were put in that position to have to use it. Mm-hmm. And these people in society never feel like they have to use them. They hold them as a crutch. They put it in the back of their brain like, I'm not that good at this, I'm not that good at that. And then when they try it and they push to that limit or push to that point, they succeed. We are our own worst enemies. So I think if people do those 3 things and focus on them, you'll be successful. And no one can stop you. You can control your emotions, you can know what you love to do, and you write down what you want to be and how you want to be successful, and I guarantee you it'll happen. Because the world will get out your way once you decide that.
Yeah, that's when opportunities come your way. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, once you stop blocking it, Mm-hmm. But everyone makes excuses, and therefore it stops their own blessings. But if you don't block your own self, why success come? It's a guaranteed fact. 85% of millionaires are self-made, not company-made, not degree-made, self-made.
Yep.
So the odds are in your favor.
It sure is. It sure is. You know, you talk about in Chapter 8, quitting is never an option. You know, we talked about fear. We talked about rejection. What do you feel, or why do you feel so many people quit right before they get to the finish line?
Again, I think they don't have stamina, and stamina is self-inflicted. It's self. You know, once you put that inside yourself, you can't lose. You'll never lose. And I think everyone gets to a point where they're just sick and tired of being sick and tired, and then they wonder. And this is the crazy thing: once they stop, what happens? They gotta start over. Like, why stop when you have to start over anyway? You know, don't stop. Don't stop believing in what you want to do. You can find another means to do something else, but don't stop. Once you do that, you got to start over again. You got to go through the same hardships and everything.
That stamina is so important. Okay, now, because you play ball, so you can tell me this. Is it important to pace yourself along the way to keep your stamina? Is it a such thing that people can just be going too hard, too fast, that it may stunt their stamina?
Well, there's no such thing as stunting your stamina. I think the thing about it is if you go and you're resourceful, then you'll know what speed to go at because it'll happen for you.
Okay.
But it's like anything else. If you try to rush anything, you're definitely going to lose. You know, there's no way in the world you can survive.
Yeah. So you have to have a nice balance in your life, especially when you're trying to build a business too. One of the things I noticed in here, read in your book and know about you is you say that even though you've experienced these championships and stuff, the biggest and the thing that you feel that you're most proud of is that you're a man of God and that and your family and stuff. You know, so I'm assuming along your journey you had to practice and learn how to develop a balance for things and not just be all business or all ball or, all champion stuff, huh?
But it's a plan that I did. I did it as a kid. You know, I focused on getting a job, and what I did when I got my job, I said I need to make a plan. I went to school. I came home, went to basketball practice at 4:30. I went to work from 4:30 to 8. This is like 15 to 16 years old. And then I went at 8 o'clock to pick my son up, which I had a son at 14 and I had custody of him. So I went and picked him up, and I came back to our empty apartment. That was a schedule I had at age 15 and 16. And good habits are just like bad ones. They're hard to break. I focused on making a plan for myself, and every time I made a plan for my fame or whatever I wanted to be, 100% of the time, it's worked. When I said I'm going to write a book, I'm going to self-publish it, I'm going to make it a bestseller, I'm going to get a TV, I'm going to get a movie. Every single thing I said was going to happen has happened, all because I had a plan. So many people do a plan about, I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to get paid, I'm going to make it go here, I'm the best, this, and that. You're not the best. You need to focus on your plan. Getting one, like I said, outline what you want to do and go make it happen. I did everything that I said I was going to do. If you don't do what you say you're going to do and you put your heart and soul into it, it won't work. You know, and again, that's all about your character. If your character is flawed, it won't work. If your attitude and emotional status is not solid, it won't work. If you don't love what you do, it won't work.
It won't work. It really won't work, yeah.
It's period. It's very simple. But people make it so hard, they blame everything and everybody on why they're not successful. If somebody said, well, you rich or you got money, so that's why you can say it. I said, well, how did I make it this far? How did I become rich? Was I born rich? If I was born rich, I would agree with you. So was I born rich? He was like, no, so how did you make it? And I told him. He was like, oh, man, my fault. You know, it's like people see your success, but they don't see your journey. And that's the situation. Like, everything I've gone through is you get me to this point.
Yes. They don't see the stuff you go through. They don't see the nights you stay up past your ball game and, reading and studying and soaking in the words from the Bible. They don't see all the stuff that they have to put off. Yeah.
None of it. None of it.
Yeah.
I always say this, champions don't make excuses, they make history.
Absolutely. And one of the things I think you touched on earlier, and I know for a fact, because Zig Ziglar says if you help enough people get what they want, you get what you want. You are very, very giving. You have the Derick Anderson Foundation. You give in so many ways. What part has that truly played in your success?
being humble is all you need to survive, really. You know, of course, your attitude, your character, and then your emotions. But if you're humble and you hold on to that, no matter what you go through, you never lose focus on that. You know, you realize that I'm not too high and I'm never too low. I'm just going to smile. I have to find something. Like me, I used to watch Sanford and Son when I got down on.
I love Sanford.
Yeah, like if something bad was to ever happen, I would watch Sanford and Son because it would make me laugh. It would take the stress off of me. You know, stress is the number one killer for anyone in the world, for everyone, health-wise, whatever. So to me, I felt like if I found some kind of outlet that made me feel like, hey, it's not bad, because you think he was a junk dealer, didn't have any money. Lamont's jacket had holes in them, but they had each other. Even when they got mad at each other, they still had each other. They was junkyard, you know, the junk dealers. So what makes you think that your life is even bad? You know, you have to look at it from that point of view. And I would laugh all the time, like, man, I ain't the only one got it bad. You know, thinking as a child, like, these guys don't have nothing. You know what I mean? So I'm just like, hey, if I got nothing else, I just need to find that moment where I can find my own inner peace. So if you find inner peace in something, I don't care what it is, even if it's being by yourself and listening to relaxing music, always find that peaceful moment for yourself. That's where you find it. And being humble is all it takes.
You know, when you find that inner peace, that's when you truly love who you are. And, you know, you can say, I don't care who doesn't love me or like me, I love me. And the first love has to be the love that you have for yourself, because that is going to help you in that stamina and everything else that you need. A lot of people are still, and this is why I feel they're not reaching their greatness, they still have that struggle with loving themselves, because they're holding on to hurt and the pain, but they're also holding on to unkind words other people may have said that you touched on earlier. It's not about how they feel about you. It's about you knowing your value.
Yeah, that's it. If they hold on to that, they're killing themselves internally. And if you ever look at some of these entertainers, like a Nicki Minaj, what she's going through, she's not a bad person, but she's got internal issues. And it comes from people pissing her off. You know, she attacks people because they attacked her. She's not a bad person. She doesn't mean anything. She has good skills, but she's always in a defense mode. I sang her on one of the shows some show that she was doing with, I think, Mariah Carey, someone, and she got into it. And it was just like, you can tell that's something that she's bitter about, but she's not a bad person. And then for her to put her name out like that, what it stands for, we knew it was a seeking attention. You know, Whitney Houston didn't do that. Beyonce they don't need to put their name out to draw attention. Their talent speaks for themselves. You know, now I'm looking at what Beyonce did with her clothing, the way she's made her videos. Like, she's again looking for something attention. I don't know if a society's pushing her to do that, but you don't see you never saw the celebrities of our times do like that to get attention. When they did, they always lost. You know, like some of the people with Prince and all of them dressing crazy. You never did that. You know, you found substance in a Anita Baker and a Whitney Houston and a Dionne Warwick and Shirley Murdoch. You found substance in these people, but you know where they came from? The church. These kids nowadays, they don't have any foundation laid for them, so they have internal issues that they have to figure out where is that. And again, they're not bad people. They just have to find what that inner problem is and get rid of it because they're successful. But you're holding on to that inner because you're thinking that's what got you to success. Your talent and your work ethic got you there. But your character is going to make you lose all of that in the end. And it happens to a lot of people. They ride that high boat for now. Yes. Because once you're done performing and you're 50 and no one likes you, you've disrespected so many people, and then you have to go meet your maker, what you going to tell them?
That's strong. That's strong. Yeah, I'm seeing a little change in Lady Beyonce, which has been very shocking to me because I always really looked at how well she was staying away from that. But that last video, I was like, what happened to Beyonce? You know, it's totally different. I want to encourage everybody to go to DerickAndersonFoundation.com, DerickAndersonFoundation.com. And Derick, let me just say, you know, you take good pictures, man.
I appreciate that.
I love that picture, and I love that, you know, your book and everything. But you say, I realized that my life had a purpose. The purpose was to use my God-given talent to first play basketball and then to use my knowledge to help others. who want to do better. I've accepted my role. I love that. I have accepted my role as one of God's servants, and I live to serve God until my work on earth is done.
Right.
That's refreshing. I say that because a lot of folks on your level are so afraid to speak what they really are.
Yeah. They want to go to their house and say, yeah, I prayed the other day. But
Publicly announcing that is different. That's huge. Some people are not comfortable with that, so I applaud you for that. And you know, you say also that to be different means to make a difference. This is what I've, based my life on, and the foundation since 1998. So that is one of those simple things to say, but a big thing. To be different means to make a difference. That goes back to that giving, and that goes about it being way beyond yourself, reaching out there, as you said earlier, and assisting those people in whatever way that you are led authentically without being pushed to do.
That's it. Yeah, because when you look at everything, you're going to sit back and say, man, what did I do with my life? I hear so many people say that. What was I doing with my life? And all you have to look back and say, man, did I help somebody out today? Did I just say a kind word to somebody? I challenge everyone. I say, go a whole day and not say nothing negative. Try it. I said, if you can do that all day, you're in tune with yourself. But if you can't go a full day without saying something negative, then you're not totally happy with yourself because you're following other people's emotions. And I don't mean like if you see someone get hit, you say, oh, man, that is sad. I wish that would happen. That's okay. But I'm saying, like, I can't stand when they do this. I hate when people call like, oh, I don't like this and I don't like that. If you do that, you're not happy with yourself because other people shouldn't dictate your life. I don't like a lot of things that go on, but I'm not going to live that moment. I'm not going to breathe it out. I'm not going to speak it. I'm going to look at it and be like, okay, I'll pray about that, and I'm going to change the channel. I don't watch that news, but if you continue to feed your mind into it, I see so many people on social media, they can't wait to get the gossip. And then they wonder why they're saying that they're part of that same gossip. Now you become the same liar that you just read about, and you don't know if it's true or not. But now you have to adjust to that. So I think every day that you live, man, you should live with a purpose. If it's just being kind to people, if it's being respectful to yourself and staying in your own environment and trying to help whatever you can. And that's where we've lost humanity, man. No one has a service to help each other until something tragic happens, which is very sad.
And that's very sad. Yeah, live life with a purpose and live it on purpose. So I agree. Well, you have given us so much. We're going to respect and your time. I'm so glad that this interview finally happened. It was well worth the wait and the challenges, but we kept that stamina going, didn't we?
That's right. You know how it is. Everyone tries to stop you from being where you need to be, and God won't allow that to happen. Whether you're spiritual or not, there's another realm in life that you realize that you have to do something with yourself. So long as we keep pushing, we'll make it.
You were speaking about old-time celebrities. I don't know. Do you remember Jane Kennedy from back in the day?
Absolutely.
Well, she's on this series.
Are you serious?
I am
love her.
Serious, so serious. And her daughter, she just is in the process of relaunching her career. She just sent me a website where her and her daughter are doing something that's called It's a Mother and Daughter Thing. And they're going to be going around the country and doing things for mom and daughters. Isn't it cool?
That is really nice.
Savannah. So you'll definitely want to plug into that interview with Jane Kennedy. And she was one of the greats, wasn't she?
Oh, my
Still
goodness,
is, but she's beautiful inside, and motherhood meant more than celebrity status, so she took a break. But she's relaunching because the last one is out of school, and I applaud her for that, just like I applaud you for all that you have brought. Final comments to lead our listeners from good to great so they can truly, truly, truly finally make that quantum leap to turning their dreams into a reality. What would it be?
Love yourself as you love your neighbor.
Love yourself as you love your neighbor. You can't say it better than that. We've been speaking with none other than NCAA Olympic and NBA champion. His name, Derick L. Anderson. Check out his book, Stamina. Don't run out of breath before you win. And to remember what he said, I altered my future when I altered my mind. You're tuned in to the Don't Wait to Be Great Global. We had to change it from just Global Radio Summit to Global Radio Mega Summit there, because we got so many huge people that, like you, are giving and say, hey, I want to be part. I want to make sure people don't die with their dreams inside. So we want to thank you again for being here. And I have so many notes, but real quickly, leaving this interview with him, I want to just point out a couple things that really stuck to me, and I hope sticks to you, and that's learn to adapt to your surroundings and your situation. And know your worth. Know your purpose, live your purpose on purpose, and do what you love. Do what you love, and like he said, don't be afraid to ask for help. You do not have to do it alone. Right, Derick?
You won't. You never have to. You always got someone there for you.
Right.
You just have to want it.
You got to want it. Can't nobody want it bad for you. And if you ever are feeling beat up and down and stuff, pick up his favorite book and mine and so many others, the Bible. It starts there. Focus on making a plan, and he talked earlier when he gave us 3, I call, of his winning strategies, was do what you love. He said if you do what you love, success is going to follow. But you got to do it with passion. Have character and integrity. Don't lose yourself along the way, right there?
Never lose yourself in anything or anybody, and you'll be happy.
I love what you said when you said, don't allow your anger to control you. If you allow your anger to control you, it will control your life, and that's disastrous.
Yes, very.
Totally disastrous. Make a list. I mean, you know this. Make a list. I call it a to-done list. I got that from the great Lisa Nichols. Not a to-do list. I mean, you intend to do it, but to done. It's done. It's complete. I'm making it happen list, okay? So make a list. Make it long and strong. And write down, he says, 5 things you're good at and 5 things you're bad at, or you feel it's challenging, but don't focus on that. So focus on the ones that you know that you got, the skills. But remember also what Muhammad Ali said, it's not just about the skills, it's the will. Going back to nobody can want it more than you. Those are just some of the things. I can't go back and take all day to go back with all these notes, but I'm going to leave you with what he says on page 75 in his book, Stamina. You won't begin to heal until you are willing to release your pain, forgive people in your life, and begin to have faith. Sometimes you may have to do it alone. However, if you have someone you trust that you will be honest enough to tell the truth, perhaps help you through it. You don't have to do it alone. It's about forgiveness. Remember, your legacy is the love and what you give. The more you give, the more love you get out there, the more you get past your pain, and you'll get to your power. So you can live your life on purpose and get more life out of living and more living out of life. This is Raven, a Talk Show Maven. We'll see you on the next interview. Mwah. Thanks, Derick. You're awesome.
Thank you, Ray. Hello, everybody. This is Derick Anderson, former NBA and NCAA champion. I wrote my own book, Stamina, and I want you guys to check out and listen to Don't Wait to Be Great. Do It Now Radio Summit on Amazing Women of Power.